Hey everybody, welcome back. Thank you for tuning back in. It's been a couple weeks. We went on a little bit of a hiatus with the buying the winery and having to figure out how to run that. But we're back. We're locked in. We've got a new schedule. We're releasing one of these once a month. Once a week was quite trying, and to be honest, it was too much, and I had to recognize that it was too much and slow down a little bit. We've talked a lot about overcoming who I was to who I am today. I can feel myself kind of slipping back into that, eat, sleep, and breathe work, and not leave enough time to do the things that I want to do and also need to do. So we've slowed it down a little bit. I think it'll actually be more impactful. We can put out more clips, have more time, and actually give me more time to put work in to be able to do these episodes. So it was super easy in the beginning because it was like, I've got years of all of this stuff that we can put out, and yeah, very quickly went by where I'm like, oh no, what do we talk about now? So we're back. We're going to do the regular cadence of the first Tuesday of every month. So we'll be dropping these out every 30 days or so. I want to dig in this week to a whole bunch of, I guess, different topics that relate to some of the stuff we've talked about before. The winery is up, it's running. We've hit the ground doing 1,000 miles an hour. We've done a whole lot of changes. We've blacktopped the parking lot. We remodeled the pavilion. We remodeled the tasting room. We remodeled the reception room. Getting ready to remodel the kitchen. I got a new bar and cabinets and everything coming into the tasting room. And it has been, I haven't had to hit the grind like this in a while. And to be honest, it's tiring. I'm a little older now than I was the first time I worked like this, but it's exciting. Like it's an energy inside that's kind of been sitting dormant for a while. So I'm really, really enjoying it. And I'm excited for, people keep coming in that's, been going there for years, and they're like, holy crap, this looks great. Like asking me questions. We're getting ready to do a grand opening next month. So July 18th, 19th, and 20th, we're going to do a 3-day reopening event. We're going to be doing some rebranding. Friday is Family Fun Day. So we've got like a petting zoo, inflatables, face painting, like cornhole boards, food trucks. Kona Ice is coming out. So it's going to be super cool to have like all of the families and bring your kids and just hang out. It's a really good thing for our local community, something to do, somewhere to go. There's not a whole lot for, families to go do in the Mount Washington area. So I'm really pumped to hopefully have a big turnout there, and something that we can continuously do, over and over and over, change it, make it better, bigger. And that's kind of my jam, make it bigger, better, stronger, faster. So the 19th, we've got live music and some food tents, so everybody can come out, bring the kids, or, maybe have a date night and be intentional with your wife or your spouse. Get some food, listen to some music, and just kind of unwind. The back of that place, I wish I could just, I guess I could probably show a picture of it. My guys will probably throw one of them in there, but just when you're sitting on the pavilion, man, it's 42 acres behind it. It's beautiful. It's quiet. It's very serene. It's just a really cool place to hang out. So, that night's going to be all about just kind of unwinding and relaxing. And then Sunday, we've actually got a yoga instructor coming in. I've never done yoga in my life. I probably won't be doing it, but we bought like 100 yoga mats. They're going to come in and under the pavilion out there do yoga from like 11:30 to 12:30, and then we've got caterers coming in to do brunch and wine mimosas. So trying to do it up big. Like I say, it's a big 3-day event. Hopefully it blows up and does really well. Part of me is terrified that no one's going to show up. The other part of me is terrified that too many people will show up, and then I'm like, what do we do then? But it's risk. It's risk, and with risk comes reward. Most cases. And if it doesn't work, I will have learned something. I'll learn to figure out what to do better or different for the next time. So it's not a give up moment for sure. It's been scary. There's not a ton of foot traffic. It's surviving off of the private events that are being booked for the most part. I'm starting to see a little more foot traffic week over week. We see, new people come in, people that haven't been in forever that says, we wanted to see what different things have happened. So it's a new avenue for me. It's a new experience for me. I'm really enjoying it, but it's also creating space, creating time I keep going back to my own words. I've got it on my mirror. I've got it written down where I have to see it and read it and be it every day. So trying to create the space to get everything done, create the time to still be a dad at home, to be the husband that I'm supposed to be. And I catch myself slipping and failing every now and then. And I just, pull myself back up, get back in line. Let's get back at it. So one of the things I wrote down here, and I've got it on my mirror right now, is be, don't do. Be that person, right? Don't do it. Don't, show up and just say like, hey, I'm going to do this for today, or I'm going to be a good dad today. I'm going to show up and try to do this. Like, I know I'm going to be, that's who I am. I'm going to continuously work and strive towards being the dad that is always there, or the husband that is always there. And failure creeps in. It takes over sometimes. My brain will get hijacked, and I'll get into my own emotions, my own feelings. And as men, like that's scary, right? Like we don't talk about our feelings, we don't talk about our emotions. But man, my life has changed so much in the last few years because I've started doing that. I've started, understanding the inner workings and the way that we're wired. I was actually talking to one of the girls at the winery this morning about a book I read called A Man's Guide to Women. And it really goes over like the science and the psychology behind like men and women, and like the difference in the chemicals and the way that our brains work. And I'm so quick to be like, hey, I have a problem. Let's make 1 + 1 = 2 and let's move on. My wife will come to me and say, hey, I've got 1 + 1 = 2. I'm trying to figure it out. And I'm a fixer. I'm like, well, it's 2. Let's move on. That doesn't always work. I did it the other night. It was last night or the night before. She was telling me, I just came home from the water. I'm still in fix-it mode. I'm still in like execution mode. And she's like, hey, I've been on this medicine for a while. I think, I've cut back. I'm trying to get off of taking it. And, I've talked to the doctor. I'm a little bit edgy. My body's obviously reacting this way or that way. And smart me looks at her and is like, well, you should try like, setting up like a routine workout, or like, yoga or boxing, or, getting up earlier, sitting on the porch, reading a book. And yeah, she didn't love that. So she said, hey, I don't know if boxing is going to make me not feel like I'm losing my mind. And I was like, oh, well, you got to try it. I didn't catch it. Like I didn't catch it was right in front of me. She just needed me to hear her and just be like, you know what, babe, I'm here. If you need anything, what can I do, or how can I help? And I didn't. I went straight to fix it mode. It was a miss between me and her, brought on by mostly me. And then I got done and I was like, hey, sorry. Like, let me know. Like, what do you need? So that's doing, right? Like I go in and I'm a doer. I'm coming in, I'm executing, I'm living up my purpose. I'm at the winery, I'm at the office. We're taking on a bunch of new areas for installs. We got into roofing. It is live as of now. So there's a lot going on in my life. I've never done roofing. That's new to me. We're expanding one of our hardest categories, the windows and doors, into like South Carolina, like the back door. Like we're going, pretty far away. Then you've got the winery, and you've got trying to set up the events, putting the right people in the right place, doing all of this stuff, still learning it, still remodeling it, and just all of this going on. And then I come home and I fail as turning it off. My natural being is to go in and problem solve and fix, and like, let's just, let's do this, and this, and let's move on. And that's not what my wife needs. My wife doesn't need me to come home and do this, and this, and move on. She needs me to listen and then ask questions and be there with her, be her husband. So I am, if we're being honest and vulnerable, I'm struggling with that right now because I'm in go mode. I'm in, let's knock this stuff out. The quicker we can get it going, the quicker we can systemize everything and fix everything and roll everything out, the quicker I can get back to the stress-free. So this go around, the sun's a little different because the first time I was just execute, go, get out of my way, I'll kill everything in front of me. I didn't have the empathy and the vulnerability, and I didn't tap into that side of myself until after it was done. So now I like who that man is, and I don't want to lose him, and I like the relationships that are built around who he is. So now I'm having to learn how to be an executionist, like not an executionist, how to execute while I'm in that role, but then come home and be the man and the husband and the dad and the friend and just an all around person that has the empathy and the vulnerability to go along with that. So it's like a light switch, learning how to turn it on, turn it off. It is a bit of a struggle right now because it's long hours. It's wake up and you instantly go into it, and then you come home and you've still got things that you've got to figure out and finish, and then figuring out how to have enough time. We played chess. I played chess with all the kids last night. Sawyer's all about chess. He's actually getting really good at it. He's probably going to beat me in the next month. The girls, they're more like giddy, laughy, like, can we take this piece back? I messed up. But it's creating that time with them, right? Daddy's busy, but I'm still your dad. I still have that responsibility to you. So it's a struggle. It's a struggle right now, but I can promise you I'll win. So again, going through some of the stuff that I jotted down just as we turn the camera on is, people are watching. Not only are people watching me in my day-to-day while I'm at the winery or at the office or at home, but I'm here and people are watching, right? So I got to make sure that not only do I talk about the things that I think are important, but like I'm being that guy. Like I'm not just I don't want to give lip service. I never want to be the guy that just gives lip service. I drink bourbon on here. I love God. I'm all about my religion, but like I do drink. I'm not gonna hide that on camera and then just turn the camera off and take a sip of something. Like I want to be who I am, and I want to be real, and I want to be vulnerable. And I got to make sure that I have an understanding of if I'm sitting down here and I'm talking to you and you're watching this and it means something to you, that it's not just a message that's coming out of my mouth that I don't live by. I want to be that man, and my natural wiring, who I am, is a full on, like, let's go out, let's go to war, let's fight, let's run, let's dive so deep into things that you don't have to think about all of this other stuff. Like, that's my natural state. And it takes effort, it takes time, and it takes work to separate that guy. So it's catchy. It's very, very catchy because I don't want to slow down. I don't want to hey, we've accomplished enough. Let's just, be at home. Let's just be the dad or just be the husband. Like, I still want to be the business owner. I want to be the entrepreneur. I want to be the risk taker, but I will never give up the dad, the husband, the friend, the uncle, the brother, the son, like whatever that looks like. I don't want to give any of that up just to be the risk taker anymore. Whereas again, the first time around the sun, like it was go, 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 grow, grow, grow. So, frequent check-ins, frequent failures, coming home agitated, taking it out in the wrong manner, being the wrong guy. I'm guilty. I'm guilty of that. We're all probably guilty of that in our own ways. But checking in and really going like, hey, I messed up. I didn't come home and spend time with the kids like I wanted to, or stop making excuses for why I didn't show up the way that I talk about showing up. So if you see me out and I'm not doing exactly what I say that I'm going to do, I'm telling you, I fail. and I fail more often than I succeed, but man, I'm going to keep chipping away at it until it is just who I am. I am going to be that guy 24/7, nonstop. And it's possible. It just takes work and it takes time. So also with that, taking time to relax. I've put in a lot of extra hours this week. Actually, as soon as I get done shooting this, I'm jumping back in the van. I got a fully loaded van again, like installer mode, full of tools and everything else, just because I've been doing so much work at the winery and everywhere else that I'm just like driving a 350 van around everywhere. As soon as I get done here, I'm going back. I got tables and chairs to set up for Saturday's event, and I'm doing it today because tonight, after the 40 cheerleaders that are in my pool right now having a cheer pool party leave, we are headed straight to the lake. I need to disconnect. I need to step away for a minute. I need to recharge. I need to spend some quality time with my family and my friends. We've got a few friends and their families coming down, and I love going to the lake. It is like you take a step back in time. The devices, no one's on their phones nearly as much as we are in our day-to-day. The kids go outside and play. They catch lightning bugs. We're jumping off boats under the lake. Like it's fun. It takes me back to like my childhood. It's probably one of my most favorite things to do. So I'm knocking everything out of the park as quick as I can so that I can get to the lake. So I'm going to relax. I don't do a lot of work when we're there. The service isn't great, and that's awesome. And, when you're on the lake, you don't want your phone out and you hit a wake and it flies over the side or whatever. So, like, there's not a whole lot of work going on. So it's like, hey, button everything up, get it done, and go spend some time, some intentional time with the people that love you. And they don't love you because you own a winery. They don't love you because you're paying them a paycheck. They don't love you because of your success. They love you because you're their husband, or you're their father, or you're their friend. So that is my new favorite thing, is go out and bust ass so that I can go spend time with the people that love me. But in doing that, again, that takes work. It takes intentionality. I have to make sure that, like, I set it. And, it was like 2 or 3 days ago, I think I sent a text out and was like, hey, looked at the schedules. I knew that the events going on at the winery this weekend wouldn't need me there. I wouldn't need to break down and set up or orchestrate any of that. So I was like, cool, this is a perfect lake weekend. I've been a couple times already this year, and it was like gloom and doom, rain, thunderstorms. We got out, but it was not pretty. This weekend, the weather's supposed to be great. And I was like, we are going to the lake. Like, one way or the other, we're going to the lake. So kind of sending a quick text to some friends, and then, talking to Shelby, and I was like, hey, we've got all this going on. And she's like, we've got this Thursday. After that, we're solid. So line up the dog sitters, get the kids ready, get everything packed, and just staying ahead of it. Again, being intentional in, like, I want to spend time in relationship with these people. I'm a busy dude. So to do that, I've got to intentionally set up the time and space. So I'm doing this, going back to the winery, I'm setting up tables and chairs, I'm coming back, seeing all these kids out in my pool, probably doing some dad jokes and embarrassing my children. Then I'm going in, I'm packing everything up, and I'm going to just wait. Hey, when we're done, when everybody's done doing what was planned for today, let's get the house picked up, let's get loaded up, let's head to the lake. We'll probably get down at midnight, but we get all day tomorrow, all day Saturday, and half a day on Sunday to just be in relationship with one another, and I'm freaking pumped. But again, that doesn't come without intentionality, trying, making sure that you're seeing those gaps in your schedule, or being in communication with your wife and your kids and your friends and everybody else, and just hey, I've got this opening, what do you guys look like? And making sure that Shelby's okay with stepping away. I was gone last week, so I got back Saturday night. That's a funny story. So the kids went to church camp, so I flew back in from Texas. I landed Saturday afternoon. Got off the plane. My friend was flying in with me. I had to go it was actually a Rise Up Kings thing. And so he flew back with me. His wife picked us up, brought me home, dropped me off. Shelby and the kids were gone doing something. That woman is a saint. She works harder than I do, I swear. And got home. She comes rolling in, and we got to go to about an hour away up in Indiana to church camp for the twins. It's the first year that they're old enough to do the multi-night stay instead of just the drop off and pick up that night. So we drive up there, and my wife is super mom. She's always prepared, and she's like, you take Sawyer, I'll take Sadie. We've only got X amount of time to set their stuff up before the parents leave. So we go to Sawyer's bunkhouse, and I start pulling all this stuff out, and there's like streamers and like just all this stuff to decorate, because we had seen Kinsley the first time that she went a couple years ago. She came home and let us know about the fact that other people decorated their bunks, and we didn't send her with anything because we didn't know, like, we're new here. So this year we overcompensated. We had a ton of stuff, and me and Sawyer are looking at each other. I'm like, I don't know where this stuff's supposed to go. And he was like, I don't either. I'm like, well, let's just like wrap it. Let's just wrap it around the bed rail. And like, we just started putting it. I just kept pulling more stuff out. I'm like, well, I guess we'll wrap this too. So we get done, and it looks exactly like two dudes put stuff in a bunkhouse for decorations. Get done, go to Sadie's. They've got like streamers hanging. It's perfect. Sadie's looks amazing. Shelby and Kinsley are up there with her, and I'm just like, man, that looks really good. And she was like, did you get Sawyer set up? And I'm like, yeah. And she was like, how's it look? And I was like, it looks like two dudes decorated a bunk. So he's happy, I'm happy. That's all that really matters. So we leave and drive back home. I think we got home at like 7, 8 o'clock at night or something like that. Unpack, get everything. Actually, we went to dinner. We went to dinner actually with Kinsley, and she got to be an only child again for a little bit. Came home, unpacked, winded down. Sadie calls, upset. She misses us. They can't take their phones or anything, so that's like the church counselor or whatever calling us. Sadie wants to talk to you, so we talk her down off the ledge, tell her, call us in the morning. If she still wants to come home, we'll figure it out. So she's like, okay. Calls us the next morning. She's good. It's daylight. They're going to go do all kinds of fun stuff. So then it's Father's Day. The kids are gone on Father's Day, and I almost messed up and got offended that it's Father's Day and my twins aren't with me, and a little piece of me was like, well, they'd never do this on Mother's Day. But then it was like, hey, selfish, like, where are we at here? My kids are going to church camp to learn about God and spend time in a relationship with people their age and probably do things that I'm going to be jealous about. And I'm going to be their dad on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'm their dad forever. So take a breath and get over it. So I had my little pity party for like 20 minutes and then I was good. So Sadie calls us at 11 p.m. Father's Day. Get up. Kinsley, Shelby were there. Shelby went and visited her dad. Me and Kinsley hung out, and then we went to dinner with my dad and my sister. It was a good day overall. Get home, and I'm like, all right, I'm tired. Hang out with the wife. Kinsley was tired. She was going to bed. And 11 o'clock, the phone rings. Church camp. And I'm like, oh, man. So we start talking to the counselor. Sadie is losing it. She's not okay. She misses us. The whole heebie-jeebies shaking. Like, you could tell she was shook. And I'm like, oh, my gosh, man. Like, I really don't. Like, it's Monday is tomorrow. It's going to be busy. I was actually helping Shelby with a spreadsheet for cheer because that's what we like to do in our downtime is cheer's life, and I've accepted that. So I'm like, Sadie, it's okay. Like, just go lay down. We'll call us in the morning. Trying the same thing I did the first night. It did not work. The counselor gets back on, and she's like, listen, I usually don't tell people kind of how to deal with their kids or whatever, but I do want to let you know, like, she's physically shaken. And I was like, oh, crap. I said, you're telling me I need to come get her? And she was like, I would. And I'm like, all right. So leave. Drive an hour there, drive an hour back. I think I got home at like 1:30 in the morning. And at first it was like, man, I don't want to do this. But then as I took off driving, I called my dad. I talked to him for, a little bit. And as I got closer and closer, I got more excited because I was missing her. And, I was missing Sawyer. And I ended up getting to spend just the last few minutes of Father's Day with Sadie driving home. And, we talked about, fear and, how sometimes we'll make decisions based out of that. And I wanted to make it clear to her that, like, hey, if we pull out of here, we're leaving church camp. And there's 2 more days of fun things planned. And, we both agreed that, like, we understand that tomorrow you might be upset. And she was like, Daddy, I just want to go home. I was like, all right. Lo and behold, Monday, she was not okay. She was super mad at herself. She was super upset. She wanted to be at church camp. They were doing all the fun stuff. She'd spent a day and a half doing like crazy cool stuff that like I never got to do as a kid. And then all the fun stuff's happening now, and I want to go back. And Shelby, unfortunately, had to deal with that. I was working, but she was super upset. But all of that, happening, and I'm just soaking it in, right? I got to spend like an hour drive time with my 9-year-old, and it's not often that you get that one-on-one time with each kid, but I had gotten some with Kinsley. We had done dinner, we hung out. She had like a day and a half of just mom and dad again, and then I got an hour with just Sadie, and we got to talk. She ended up bailing on me and falling asleep, but then my dad called back, so I got to talk to him for quite a while on the drive home. So it's cool how like the disruptions or like the things that are annoying actually can turn into something that puts you into a better relationship with someone or gives you time for that relationship. And that's exactly what happened that night. Came home, was tired, talked to Sadie, talked to Shelby, rolled over, went to sleep. But then the next day I was actually super happy that it happened. And to be honest, if I'm being honest, like daddy getting being able to save the day is always a win for me. So flew up there like her little knight in shining armor. So future husband, you're screwed, because I'm telling you right now, like you got a lot to contend with, making sure that she's happy. Because I will give and do whatever she needs me to do, because I freaking love those kids. But it's easy to go back to, oh man, I had to do this or I had to do this. Like, man, just wrap your mind around, like, I was able to go pick her up. She was able to call me. I have a good enough relationship with my 9-year-old daughter that she's telling me, like, Daddy, Mommy, I need you. I want you. I want to come home. And I think about all the other people that I know in my life, and my wife's path and her past, and like we're doing it right. Like we've got kids that love us, that want to be with us, that miss us. Instead of that being, a lot of kids that are going through that camp right now, or that just came home. For them, that's as normal as they get. That is a vacation for them. That is a relief for them, and it kills me. It hurts my heart to think that there's some kids that don't want to be picked up from that, right? They've got intentionality there. They've got people that love God around them, and they're with them and they feel safe. And then they have to leave that and go back to something that's different. So when she called, I really put that into my perspective of like, she's at one of the best places she could be at right now, and she wants to come home. That's an accomplishment. Like, kudos to me, kudos to Shelby, my wife, for her wanting to come home instead of staying at what some people would probably, including myself. I was kind of wondering if, like, well, maybe if I go there, like, she can come home and like I can do the zip lines and the lake, and they got the blob. Like, I can't remember what movie it was, but movie when I was a kid, they had the blob in the lake. Like, they have one of those, and I'm like, oh my God, I'd love to do that. But it's good. It's a really cool thing if you choose to look at it that way. It's not a inconvenience. It's not a disruption. It is actually an opportunity. It's an opportunity for me to feel good about who I am as a dad, and also spend some quality time with my little girl who was scared. And I got to come in, and as soon as I said, hey, I'm on my way, she was good. Instantly, she was happy. She was okay. All of the fears in her life disappeared because daddy was coming. And what an awesome feeling. Like, that's really, really cool. So if you get in those moments, if you get in those opportunities where you get to be the knight in shining armor for your wife or your daughter, or even a friend, make sure you're looking at that through the right lens. Like, that is an opportunity. That is an accomplishment. If someone calls you to help them, or calls you to make them feel safe, like, that's good. Like, look at yourself in the mirror and acknowledge that you made someone feel safe. That's why they called on you. So it was an awesome moment that started out of me being like, I don't want to drive up there. I don't want to do this. I'm tired. Like, all the excuses start to try to surface, right? I've been gone. I just got home. We got home late. We had to drive there. Now I got to drive back. Sawyer gets home on Tuesday, and keeping in mind, Sawyer, we call him Squirrel. He is living his best life. Like, we ain't heard shit out of this guy. Like, he's finally around nothing but a bunch of like other dudes his age, living in a bunkhouse, like going out and traveling, like, up and down the trails in the woods, and God knows what he's doing, but we don't hear anything from him. He is good to go. So I like to think it's not because he doesn't feel safe here. It's just because he was like, hell yes, I don't have brothers. I only have women, and daddy's working. Now I have nothing but dudes. So, he came home. He's got a tan. He's got a rash. Like, he's got all of the things that, like, you would be like, sweet. He lived his best life. And he's excited about going back next year. Sadie commits, swears she's going next year, and she's not coming home. So time will tell. But it is scary. It's thinking back of like, okay, if I was 9, I was an hour away. She had a couple people she knew, but it's scary. And like, how cool is it that, in her fear, she reached out to us. She didn't tell the counselors there or her friends that she was scared, or, trying to get them to come in and make her feel better or feel safe. Like, she knew where her safe place was. So I don't know. kind of a rant on a story, but it was cool. It makes me happy. So again, the words that we talk about, the stories that we tell, they're all real. Everything that I say on here is mostly off the cuff, because I want it to be vulnerable and I want it to be real. I had another conversation this morning at the winery about masculinity, and I was actually talking to Brody here today about it a little bit. And I was like, it's crazy that learning, taking the time and putting in the effort to read the book, A Man's Guide to Women, to understand, not, the title kind of makes it seem like it's one way, but it's actually more of an understanding. It helped me understand me. It helped me understand the way that like my mind works, and the way that, when I see something and I instantly just want to fix it, like, why is that? And a lot of that's from the masculinity that's inside of me. And the conversation I was having this morning, we were talking about that. I was like, you hear a lot about like toxic masculinity. You hear, a lot of people anti being, to the masculine male, all of this stuff. But in my life and in my heart and mind, the way that I see it is that, yeah, there is 100% things like toxic masculinity. And I think we've been through like different generations to see that, and, the oppressed women, and looking back of like when they couldn't vote, and like just the whole timeline, right? If we look at that, like we look at it today and we're like, wow, that was really crazy and not okay. But I also feel like we've turned a big corner in a lot of ways in the last, decade or so, of deleting that masculinity, right? To where you're afraid to be the natural you, or for me to be my natural me. And I am that guy. I am that like alpha male that wants to provide, that wants to do all of these things. But I've been able to learn that, like, hey, that can become very toxic. That is 100% a reality that could be happening. But what if we could turn into an intentional, like having intentional masculinity? And that's where I like to push myself into. That's where I like to build who I am. Someone that can reach into the empathetic version of themselves, the vulnerable version of themselves. 5 years ago, I would have told you therapy's out the window. It's for weak-minded people, blah, blah, blah. I had all this stuff that was instilled in me. And again, that for me, that is the toxic side of things. Like, why not be open to understanding? And that's who I am today. I'm more open to understanding. I don't want to just make a decision. I don't just want to be the lion that roars. I want to understand like what is going on. And don't get me wrong, I will 100% be the lion that roars, but what am I roaring about? Like, what is going on? Do I have a full understanding of it? Am I taking a minute to be able to see both sides of it? And am I being empathetic in it? And that's helped me tons in my marriage. It's helping me be a better girl dad, and a boy dad, right? Because I'm able to take Sawyer and instead of just being like, hey, let's drag our knuckles on the floor and break rocks and make fire, like, hey, let's understand that there's other people here. And not everybody thinks the same. And, I genuinely feel like there is a difference between men and women, and the way that we're connected, and the way that we're wired, and the way that we think, and the way that we feel, but also within our own, our own sex, we've also got variances there as well, right? Like, men tend to think 1 + 1 = 2, and that's it, and let's move on. But there's also variances of that between men and women. So not only do you figure out like the science behind it, or the psychology behind it, but you also figure out that like there's different temperaments, there's different kind of like versions of it. So for me, I'm not like that hot-headed guy that like loses his stuff. I've never really been that. I can't say that I've ever remember being that. Other people might tell you different, but I don't feel like I'm that guy. And if anything, like I'm a crier. Like, I'm a freaking crybaby. I'm very empathetic, but I didn't know that. I didn't know that, why do I get emotional? Songs will make me cry, like watching some of these TikToks and reels and stuff, especially like the troops coming home or like people hearing for the first time, like all of that stuff, like it warms me up inside. And I'm like, okay, like that's the empath. Like that's me feeling my feelings. What happens if I can grab a hold of those and learn how to use them and learn what they mean and what they mean to me specifically. And then in business and in life, understanding other people and how they work and how their mindset is. I was talking to Beth at the winery today, and I said, I within the first hour of meeting you knew that you were a loyal person, but you were slow to trust. And she just looked at me and smiled. And I was like, I instantly knew this about you, and that you are not, I could lip service you all day and tell you about who I am and what I'm going to do. But until I do it, the trust doesn't happen. And just through my years of experience of being around so many different people and putting in the work of understanding how people work, like I'm able to gauge people like that. And it's actually really good. It's not good just for like a financial or a successful gain, but it's good for like a relationship. Like I want to know her. I want to be friends with her. I want her to trust me. And I can't do that just by like, japping my jaws together. Like I got to put in the work and show her that like, hey, I can talk the talk and walk the walk. There's a couple other people up there that they're quick to trust. Like you can just tell that. But all of that leads into like the inner workings of who we are as human beings. And it's so cool to see the variances and the differences between everyone. And I'm really digging into that understanding more and more and more. My kids, my wife, myself first. Because if I don't understand me, how the hell am I going to understand anyone else? And so far, me is the hardest one to understand. But it's going to be a continuous thing. And to be honest with you, I don't know that once I figure it out, that it will be figured out forever, because then you've got age, right? So like things change over time as you age, the different seasons of life or different, I'm in my 30s now, but I'm creeping up on 40s, and looking at that, I'm like, okay, 40 average life expectancy of a man is like 76 or so. Wow, we're past that halfway mark at this point. And like that changes perspective. So as my age or my experiences in life happen for me, my perspective changed. So it's a never ending cycle of like learning who you are and learning what you want and what makes you tick, and taking that and then using it for the good of the relationships that you have with other people. So something I've been digging into, and I'll continue to dig into, and I'll probably never perfect it. I hope I don't perfect it, because then chances are I'm being selfish in that moment. But yeah, it's a big topic. Masculinity. It's been a giant topic for a very long time. Like, what does it look like? What if we ridded the world of masculinity? What do we look like? I think it looks bad. I don't think it's what we want. But what if we could come back in and replace toxic masculinity or non-healthy masculinity with intentional masculinity? There's the mix I think we're looking for. And you've got, one side that's just like, masculinity is key. And you got another side that's like, let's get rid of it. But like, how can we come together and find that happy medium that works for both sides? And I don't know as a society if we'll ever actually get to that, because you've got the media and you've got the different parties and everybody that their only job in life is to pit each other against each other nonstop. Then if that's not enough, we throw other countries into it. And, without going down the political rabbit hole, it's built to make us not find that happy medium, because if we find that happy medium, then we, all the powers that be lose control and so on and so forth. So, but in my personal life, I'm 100% sure that I can take control of that. And I can learn that, and I can put in the work, and I can build the relationships around it. So that's kind of the ship that I'm on right now, is keep going, keep growing, keep checking in, but making sure that I understand the inner workings of who I am, making sure that I also give the time, effort, and appreciation to the people around me, and like trying to put all of this into a, 12, 14-hour day while not failing in any of the avenues that I'm going into. And it's pressure. The last episode that we released, Diamonds are built under pressure. I perform best under pressure because that's who I am. Doesn't mean that's who everyone is, but like figure out what that is. Figure out what makes you tick, what makes you work, what works for you. And if you're not taking time to do that, you're probably, the problems in your life are probably mostly created by yourself, because you are in control of like what you allow in, what you allow out. You get to determine whether you're happy or you're sad. And sometimes that's a struggle, right? Like things happen that make you sad, but at the end of the day, you get to choose whether you're happy or you're sad. And the better and the more in tune you get internally, the more you can pull out of the drift, or like the valley of despair there, where like, all these things happen to me and like, woe is me. And then trying to find the glass that's half full. So, I'm going to continue to battle that out, and it's a never ending battle, but I can promise you it's not going to be a losing battle. One of the big things that I learned over the last 2 years, and I actually wrote this, I wrote it down here today, but it's in my journal. I'm a journaler now, and I didn't think that was ever going to happen either, but you'd be surprised on if you go through and just write some thoughts down and then ask yourself about those thoughts, the answers that you'll get. But I wrote down, and I'm quoting this out of my journal: when I feel like I've won the battle, I stop fighting the war. And like when I wrote that and then I read it back to myself, I was like, holy crap, that is so me. It's so impactful. If I go out and I get this winery remodeled, like that's the battle, right? I've almost won that battle, but there's still a war going on behind there. I've still got to get people in. I've still got to make it profitable. I've still got to change the lives of the people that work there, because that's who I am and that's my purpose. So I got to be careful not to feel like I've won the battle and then I pull back on the war. Me and Shelby are doing great, right? I'm a good husband. She'll tell you that. That battle's over. I'm not the bad husband, or the husband that doesn't know how to communicate, or the husband that's never around. I better make sure that I keep fighting the war in the background, right? Because just because I won this battle doesn't mean that there's not an entire war going around all the time. And I'm that guy. I'm that guy that like checks the box. And again, I go back to being the guy that just executes. And then I miss the fact that there's an entire war going around. So don't stop fighting the war, even if you win the battle or when you win the battle. It's a never ending war. It will never stop. Probably until your heart stops beating, the war will go on. And it doesn't have to be this big, nasty, like overbearing thing that, just depresses you. Like, it's exciting. That what an awesome thing to do is to wake up every single day going, all right, I'm in battle, but I'm also focused on the war. I want to make sure that we're winning here, and then I'm going to keep pushing in here, but also understanding that even if I win here, I got all these other battles to fight, because the never-ending war of you versus yourself, it's never going to stop, and it's an opportunity to do nothing but grow. You can lose the war, or you can stop fighting the war. The war, actually, you don't lose it. It's always there, but you could choose to stop fighting that war. Doesn't mean it doesn't keep going on. It just means that you're not fighting it anymore. And then you start the depression and the drinking or the smoking or stepping out on your marriage, or like whatever you feel that little void with there to act like the war's not happening. Or you go into the like, look at what I've done. Look what I've accomplished. Look at these battles that I've won. I don't have to fight the war anymore. That's bullshit. The war's there. I don't care how much money you got. I don't care how much time you got. I don't care your accolades. There's always a war going on in the background, whether it's emotionally, spiritually, physically, relationship-wise. There's something going on that you could take and put in front of you and then try to win that battle as well. So when I feel like I've won the battle, I stop fighting the war. That's a good one. If you feel like that, you write it on your mirror. Be self-aware of it, because when we're self-aware, we can actually change it and fix it. The mindset that you show up with will impact the situation. So I wrote on here too, like, you can't change the wiring. Like, I can't change the wiring of my mind. I can't change like how I was, you're, I think it's like 8 to 12 years old, something like that. Like, that's the most crucial years in your life where it really develops who you're going to be as an adult. most of the time you can't like rewire that person or change that person. You can change your mindset, but your default's always going to be go back to that, right? So you get a lot of people that are into alcohol or pornography or drugs or, affairs, like whatever you want to throw into that. It's usually a repetitious thing, right? Like they'll go through and I'm not drinking or I'm not, doing drugs anymore, or I'm not cheating on my wife, and it'll go and it'll go and go, and then they'll repeat offender, right? Like they'll fall back into that. Like, why is that? Why is it so hard to get out of that vicious loop? Because that vicious loop is actually who you are. And that sucks, right? Like that sucks to look at yourself in the mirror and say like, this is who I am. But when you do that, you have an understanding now, like, okay, I can't change the fact that I step out of my marriage. I can't change the fact that if a drink's in front of me that I'm going to drink it. I can't change the fact that I can't stop looking at porn, like whatever that is. But what I can do is I can change my mindset around it, right? I can put the checks and balances in place. Right, again, I'm going to go back to the mirror a million times. It's like the most impactful thing for me, right on there. Like I'm an absent father. Like I am an absent father. I am an alcoholic. I cheat. I drink. I'm a drug addict. Like write that down. Don't try to hide from who you are, because that person will always be who you are unless you change the mindset around it. So for me, I am addicted to success. I am. And it will consume me. It will take over who I am. And man, I'm good at it. I'm damn good at it. But guess what? I'm also an intentional dad. I'm an intentional husband. I'm an intentional boss. I love people. I love relationships. I love community. So I get to write that right underneath of I'm addicted to success, but I am an intentional human being. Now, because I'm able to choose my mindset, I choose to be an intentional human, not addicted to success. Doesn't mean I'm not. Just means that today I'm choosing the better option. So, a lot of people that I see in my life and all the different personalities and different things that I've been around, everybody's trying to change who they are. And it's just like it's trying to run across an ice rink and just everybody keeps falling down and nobody can figure out why they can't, run full sprint across this ice rink. And it's like, it's because that's the situation. Like that is what it is. Stop trying to do that. If you're trying to get to the other side, be intentional, like take steps, crawl. Whatever you got to do to get there, but you can get there. But the first thing you got to do is acknowledge that this is ice and it's slippery and there's a chance you're going to fall and there's a chance you're going to fail and there's a chance you're going to get busted up. Hell, there's a chance the ice cracks and you fall through it. There's all kinds of like chances or failures that could happen within this, but there's also an opportunity for you to get to the other side. But the first thing you got to do is have an understanding that this is ice. This is who I am. I am addicted to success. I am addicted to going out and working through everything and pretending like life doesn't exist. I am that guy. I will always be that guy. Put it in front of me, and it takes everything I have not to freaking attack it. I've had another winery get sent to me that's for sale that's like 5 hours away, and I'm like, I mean, that would be really cool. Stop, Tim. Like, what the hell are you doing? Like, no, you can't do this right now. I want to do this. I want to keep taking the risks. I want to go after it. But then I go back and I go, hey, I'm an intentional man. I'm an intentional human. I'm an intentional father. I can't be an intentional dad if I'm addicted to success in this moment right now. So don't try to change who you are. Try to change how you show up to the situation. I'm going to walk slowly across that ice skating rink and I'm going to get to the other side. I'm going to look back and watch you bust your face over and over again trying to sprint and beat everybody else there. I've already acknowledged that it's slippery. Doesn't mean I can't get to the other side. So for me today, that was a big one. And I love it. I love accepting who I am and working on the opportunities that come with that man. So take time to look at that. Take time, write it down. I know it's tough, telling on yourself or like going to your spouse or your friends or whatever else and saying like, hey, I struggle with this. This is who I am. But once you have nothing else to hide after that, right? Once you accept who you are, it's only up from there. Now it's out and it's about, and it's no longer you're putting on this facade or you're trying to put on makeup to cover up the face that you don't want anybody to see. Now it's okay, this is who I am, but it doesn't mean I have to show up that way. It doesn't mean that that's who I have. That's not how I have to live. Go into Ruck likes to call it going into the cave. Go into the cave and face the scary things that's in the darkness. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. Get comfortable sitting with that alcoholic or that drug addict or the guy that chases success over his family. Like, get comfortable with that man or woman. And then fix it. Change your mindset. But don't forget about going back in the cave every now and then and checking in. Because before you know it, you'll turn back into that drug addict or success chaser or, money hungry person. And you'll lose it all. You'll lose yourself again. So that's all I've got for today. I love doing this. I want to continue to do this. I hope you guys are liking it. Again, we're switching to once a month instead of every week so that I've got time to be an intentional dad, an intentional husband, and an intentional boss. I sacrificed the office for like a month solid. Thank God my team is amazing. I was checking in though. I did check in, roll up. Anybody need anything? Is everything good? What do I need to know? But what's cool is like I can buy a winery, remodel a winery, still be a good dad, still be a good husband, gain 5 new districts. It's like 65 stores, and expand in our window and door division, take on roofing, and then we're rolling out like 2 other things all at the same time. I can do that because I'm in charge of my time. I'm setting the stage for myself, and I'm ensuring that I create the space to do it. So if you're not doing that, you're failing, and that is okay. But recognize the failure so you can fix it. Thank you guys. We'll see you next time. Have a great day. Don't forget, anything is possible when you take off the blinders. Thank you for tuning in to the CrumeCast podcast. We're excited to continue to share our story with you. Our new guests that are coming on have a lot more to tell. You've got a lot more to learn, so we really hope that you keep tuning in, and we will see you next time. Have a blessed day.